do this somehow. Looks like we have a good number of people here, 44 people. That's great. Okay, so according to our training, as you know, through Ignite, the first thing that we're going to talk about is running your business. So what you typically do is you lead generate for business, for buyers and for sellers. You market seller listing presentations. You go on listing appointments and you just write deals, right? That's the main 4 things that you're supposed to be doing as an agent. However, there's this whole financial thing in the background that nobody ever thinks about. And you don't think about it until the end of the year when you're struggling to pay your taxes, right? That's the biggest thing that a lot of people have when you're struggling with that. I'm not using that mic. I'm using this. I just forget it. I'm just going old school style. So whatever, it is what it is. All right. So lots of things to worry about. Let's go to the next slide. Where's the slide control? How do we do this now? Oh, there we go. Awesome. That's the slide I was talking about. Okay. So what do you want to get out of this? What do you want to talk about today?
Really helping people figure out the aspect of financial
stability, right?
Pursuing the career.
Yeah. So Michael is on the other side of this and you can't see the camera, unfortunately, but he was talking about getting the financial stability, right? Yeah. Because it's all great when we get a big commission check, and the average price of a downtown condo right now is about 800,000. Oh, your co-host, cool. The average price of a downtown condo is 800,000. Yeah. And how do I mute this thing? Sorry, guys. Average price of a downtown condo is 800,000. So that commission check at 2.5% works up to 20 grand, right? And before you know it, what do most people do? You know, you get 20 grand, you put it straight from your business account right into your personal account, and you think you have 20 grand, right? Which is a big mistake. And I think the first thing you should do is obviously set aside some money for taxes. 1/3 or 40% should go to taxes. You know, that's the biggest thing. Can we go to the next slide, please? It's so annoying. I got to get access. Do you guys want to set up my iMac while you're at it? So that I can, because that already has the permissions, I can just switch over really quick.
Could you just turn on your equipment, please?
It's on. It's on. Okay, so we're going to be talking about a few things here. First of all, we're going to start about the millionaire real estate agent model, which talks about how to budget for your running your business. As you know, as you may know, we have a pretty successful team, I think, 5 agents and pretty much 4 admin. So I'm trying to run according to the model as much as possible. We're running about 1.2 GCI, 1.2 million, and I'm trying to get that a little bit higher. So it obviously works a lot better if you have more revenue coming in. So that's the biggest thing. Then we're going to talk about flow of money, how that works. And let's see here. Yeah, so basically to put it in the right accounts so that you save for taxes and you save for you're running your business and marketing as well too. Because I think the basics of it is that I generally run the rule that 10% of your income should be run towards marketing, right, to get more business. And then we also talk about building your future, so paying yourself a salary, saving money and all that, some best practices, daily success habits, and we're going to recap after that. So let's go to the next slide really quick. That's the one that I was talking about. Oh, I'm really behind. Okay. Okay. So a lot of people, so first things first, set a profit goal that funds your big life and pursue the activities to achieve it. A lot of people kind of make the mistake that your revenue is your income, and it's not, right? And a lot of clients make that mistake as well too. They think that the money we make is huge. And when have you guys heard that script actually? I don't know if you want to mute yourselves and talk about it, but there's a script where it says that 1/3 of your money goes to taxes. The other 1/3 goes to running your business, and then the other 1/3 is the profit, right? Pretty straightforward. And everyone just says it, but I don't know who actually follows it. So I think you really need to follow that and realize that, listen, like Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we only get 1/3 of that 2.5%, really. The other 2.5% goes to the co-op agent, and then the other 1/3, basically, yeah, that's how you split it up. So, let's see. Don't forget to pay yourself a salary. Number 5, that's pretty important as well too. It's something that we don't think about, because then before you do that, you're going to not reinvest your money into the business itself. So let's go to the next slide really quick. And I love this one. Money is good for the good it can do. Think about when we're talking about money right now, everybody thinks about greed and all that stuff. And you seem so greedy. Why always focus on money? Well, look, money is just a tool at the end of the day, right? If you think about family, like if knock on wood, one of your family members or somebody you love gets sick, what are you going to do? Like, it's hard to, like, forget about paying for their expenses or anything like that. What about yourself? Can you sustain taking off 6 months without working? So I look at it as a tool to really help you throughout your life and the people around you, right? The other thing I should say about money is that the more you have it, the more it just amplifies who you are as a person. If you're like a bad person to begin with, it's just going to make you a more negative person. But if you're a really good person, you do good things with your money, then it's just going to make you a better person as well too. So I think you can never have enough money, in other words, is what I'm saying. So let's go to the next slide. We can make this interactive. So if you guys have any questions, feel like just unmute yourselves and just chat really quick. All right. So in this scenario, they use an example of getting $9,000 as the income, right, for a commission. We know that in Toronto, it's a lot higher than that. Like I said, if you use the average downtown condo of 800,000, then you're looking at 20,000. I don't know why they use 9,000. They should really use a nice simple 10,000 number. So it makes it really easy. So on the left side, you have, say, Jessica Campbell is the agent, and you're basically paying yourself $57.60 after, I guess, commission splits to the office. Then really the other portion, you put half into, or no, you put the full amount into your personal bank account, then it goes to the wallet. There's no business savings, no tax savings. So to me, that sounds obviously unsound. On the right side, there is the financially sound part where you get the $9,000. Then after the company dollar comes off, like your splits the kit up, you do your brokerage, then you get $5,760. Then a portion of that goes to your business bank account, and the other portion goes to your personal account. At that point, you take your taxes from there. And then, because it's the US, it's a state and federal taxes and then self-employment tax. So just count that all as one tax, whether it's federal and provincial tax. And then into Jessica's wallet, the agent really should be only like 20-30% of that amount, right? So in Canada, one thing I should also mention is that we are now in Ontario anyway, allowed to be registered as a PREC, a professional real estate corporation. And if you have, so a lot of the questions I get is, should I incorporate or not, right? And if you ask yourself, are you able to save money at the end of the year? Then yes, you should create the PREC. If you're just starting out and you haven't really figured that out yet, and even how to get your next commission check, then don't do it yet, right? You're not ready to go yet. But eventually, as soon as you kind of hit that threshold and you feel like I'm actually doing something right here, get that PREC because it's really powerful. Right, next slide, please. All right, so financially sound example, we just talked about that. One transaction, so the commission that comes in, $9,000. After you pay your broker splits, you're looking at just under $6,000. Then 2,400. So I kind of went already through that. So next, please. I wish I controlled the slides. I'm sorry. Okay, so please repeat about the professional real estate corp. Okay, I don't really have access to my chat that well, so please just shout out the question if you have a question. Just because I don't have my full setup here properly. Okay, so with the real estate corporation, if you're able to save money at the end of the year, so say you make, I don't know, there's no real set number. Some people say 100 grand, some people say 200 grand, some people say 500. It really depends. If you make 100 grand in your real estate corporation or as a real estate agent, and you only spend 20 grand, you're able to save 80 grand, then before taxes, that is, right? Then I would incorporate, because then really you can have some of that as leftover savings for the next year, really, and just really grow your business that way. So you don't have to pay, basically, in other words, you don't have to pay the full income tax on the 80,000 after expenses, right? So I'm talking, what are you talking about expenses? We're talking about your car, your cell phone, your advertising, if you have computer systems, staff, if you have anything like that, stuff like that, right? So if you're able to save a certain amount, and the corporation tax is what, 12.5%, something like that. So you pay that tax on it. And then eventually, if you pay yourself a salary, maybe you draw down 40,000 out of that, then you have remaining amount of whatever, right? And that's where you pay your taxes on. So it's really good. Okay, so next, where are we at? Let's keep going. Okay, economic model. This is probably where you guys all came from. Oh yeah, so that was that one right there. Perfect, thank you. I don't know who's running the slides. I think it's Yvonne, so I'm gonna say thank you to Yvonne. If that's not, then tell me who that is. But anyway, this is what you guys all came from. Say you get a $10,000 check. The economic model on the MREA, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, the red book that we all love from 20, 25 years ago, is still really relevant today, because the reason why we love it is because it's actual fundamental business sound principles, right? So if you have a $10,000 that comes in, 3,000 of that should be the cost of sales. So that's, marketing that you have. It could be things that go directly into the cost of selling or getting that commission. It could be kickbacks. I don't like giving kickbacks, but if it actually does that, if you have to do that, promotional stuff, it could be signs, lawn signs, postcards. It's kind of like market. That's more operating expenses though, right? Because you can't really directly attribute that portion of money to that transaction.
True. So
right?
This would be more like if you had to hire a handyman or a painter or something.
Yeah, if that was part of your services and you had to like staging and things like that, and you included that, then that would be cost of sales. But if it's not, if it's something that is just running your business overall, getting more listings, hey, look at me, I'm the #1 agent, whatever, right? And that's kind of the operating expenses. So we're getting the operating expenses, and a third should be to there as well too. And then your net income should be about 40%. All right. So next, please. All right. The flow of money. Oh, let's go next one. Sorry. Okay, so basically what goes in, expenses that come out, profit less. I don't even know why that was slide. That's so basic. Next one, please. Like everyone knows that. So profit. Oh yeah, here's something I should really talk about. Why are we in business for?
Profit.
You gave it away too easily, but yes, it's profit, right? At the end of the day, it's money. And remember from one of the first slides that we talked about where money is only good for the good it can do. Well, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing where it's all about greed. It's like, it's helping fuel your life and the people around you. So I think that our #1 thing we should be focusing on is profitability. And that's what this course is really about. So when we're talking about income from real estate sales, really there's those 4 types of income, right? Like you have a listing side, a sales, meaning representing a buyer or tenant, right? Referral income is if you referred it to, say, an agent in Vancouver, you get a 25% cut or whatever you guys agree upon. There's also that. And then rental income. Oh, that's separate. Okay, so that's, I guess, listing and buying side. That's pretty much the only way you can get money as a real estate agent. Yeah, there's consulting fees and everything like that. And it's just opened up not too long ago with Rico. But for the main part, that's where the bread and butter comes from. So let's go to the next one. Cost of sales. I kind of went through that really quickly. Oh yeah, commission fees. That's, I mean, the company dollar, the company split, right? Whether you're on a team split, let's just say. So things like that, that goes directly as a cost of sale. Talk to your accountant if you have any questions about how that all really works out, the cost of sales versus an operating expense. Yeah, it's pretty much straightforward. If you guys are on a team like Michael and Bada right here sitting in front of me, which I wish I could show you guys on camera, but they don't have a lot of these expenses because as a team leader, I'd be bearing these costs, right? So let's go to the next one. Okay, let's go to the cost of sales. All right. You have not capped on company dollar royalty. What's the net commission check you receive after cost of sales? So the formula is basically your gross commission income. Let's use an example of $10,000 minus, let's call it your company dollar, which in this example, they're using 30%. So 70-30. So you get 70% of that. And then 6% goes to KW International until you cap out at, I think, maximum 3,000. That's straightforward for everybody. And that's your net commission. Very simple. Number 2 talks about if you've already capped, then what happens? So you only pay your royalties until you hit your royalty cap. And then if you receive all royalties, and you get basically 100%, except in our office, we have a $100 company dollar transaction fee. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Let's go to the next one. And then next one. So, all right, activity plan for your future. Hopefully people are still interested in this and haven't tuned out. Let's go to the next slide, please. All right. So we're going to be using a calculator in this example. I think they have some pre-drawn ones out. So, okay, let's work on this, for example. So let's say your net profit, for simplicity's sake, is $100,000, right? Or it's called, no, you know what? Let's amp it up a little bit. Let's say $1 million. We're big agents. We're big people. We have ambitious people. We try to get some big goals. $1 million. All right. So then you divide your net profit by 60%. So that works out to, oh, they're working backwards. I see. That means in order to get net $1 million, you really have to make $1.6 million. All right. So because if you remember your gross commission income, oh, what? Wow. This is crazy. Okay, let me start this again. Let's do, sorry guys. Let's do $100,000 as your net profit goal. I'm gonna use the example that they gave us in the instructor manual. So with $100,000, in order to get that net profit, your gross profit, which means gross before the expenses that you would have, divide that by 60%. So you got 166,000. In order to get that gross commission income, basically 40% of your gross commission income works out to $416,000. And the number, you divide the home sales by the average commission. So let's say the average commission is 20 grand, and your number could be different. So I don't know what kind of audience I'm talking to. If I'm talking to somebody just starting out, or if I'm talking to people that are been in the industry for a while. So I want to talk to people that have been in the industry for a while. If you know your average commission, gross commission income, let's call it, in this example, it's $7,500. So that means you're looking at a $300,000 average sale price, right? Which is not the case here. We're probably looking at least double that. So if you doubled that 7.5, then you're looking at 15,000. So you're looking at 32 deals at the end of the year at average price of $600,000. Make sense? Okay, so anticipated cost of sale is your royalty plus your company dollar cap, and then you multiply the gross commission income by 30%, which works out to 124,000. So that's how much money you have to make. All right, I have newbies, so this is good info. Okay, well, I'm going to talk at they always teach you to talk at a higher level so that everybody else just kind of catches up to it, right? So you don't lose people at the top. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Next slide, please. Thank you. All right. Best practices on setting yourself up for success. All right. So everybody in this chat, because you've decided to become a real estate agent, and which is pretty scary as a self-employed individual, you have big hopes and big dreams. So I have all faith in you in getting that to that level and getting that clarity as to your big why. That's not the reason. That's not what we're going to cover in this chat today, because your big why is, it's like an internal thing. And I know you spend a lot of time doing that throughout this Ignite course. So we're going to set up your personal and business budgets. That's what you should be doing as well too. Let's talk about your business entity. So that's talking about whether you want to incorporate or not and how you want to pay yourself. I would open up additional bank accounts for taxes, expenses, and other savings. So the first thing you should do, really, if you are just starting out in this business, set up 3 bank accounts. And I know it sounds kind of crazy if you're only getting, you know, $20,000, $30,000 a year. Say you start out small and you don't make a ton of commission. Still set those up so you have the practice to do that, right? At the very minimum, set up 3 accounts, right? Taxes, business expenses, and your personal running your life. So if you get $10,000 on each commission check, a third should be set aside for taxes, A third should be set for running your business and reinvesting into your business. And the other third should be going out to spend it and treating yourself, right? That's probably the biggest takeaway I would say from this, because it's so easy once you get that $10,000 to be like, oh, I'm going to go on vacation, or I'm going to go buy a new car, and you spend all that money or whatever it is, right? When you get to that personal side, the third.
Can I just for a second? Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no worries.
So can you explain, should there be an HST account as well? Or can you explain the difference between like HST?
Oh, yeah. That's a really good question. Thank you for that, Ted. So basically, or is that Ted that was talking? I don't know who that was. Just say your name if you're talking, because I can't really see here.
Greg, it's Greg here. Sorry.
Greg, hey, sorry. Okay, so HST, if you get a $10,000 check, I'm talking about as a gross commission. HST, you get the 15% or 13% on top of that. So you're talking about 11,300 is the check you get. I'm talking about only the gross portion, the 10,000 portion.
I see. Okay, and then you just take that
one statement takes
and put it.
Hey,
Okay.
Ken,
So HST, personally, what I would do is I would just throw that into another account. So yes, that would be a good fourth account to just put that in.
This is Ted, Ken. I do the same thing. That HST, it's not your money, and the income tax 40%. It's just not your money. So what I do is I take all that and shove it into my one account that accumulates and accumulates, and I take care of that at the end of the year and do the quarterly payments throughout. And if you do the 40%, this is what I love about this, is if you do 40, you usually end up with a nice little tax return at the end of the year.
That's right.
If you do it and you stick to it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And guess what do you use after that? What do you use with the tax return?
What do I use with that money?
Yeah. What do you put it to?
Cocaine, just craziness. No, I'm kidding.
Coke and hookers, right?
Cocaine and hookers. No, whatever. That's whatever you want. Like if what you want is to build your rental portfolios, or if you want to invest in your profits, I'd put in the chat that there. Don't forget the fourth account. My fourth account is my profits, right? So when the money comes in, the first thing goes towards the taxes and HST, because it's just not your money. And then I take, whatever. I don't have a specific number. I just have a comfort level off of that check, and I make sure that I put that into my tax-free savings account to invest in whatever. And that's my retirement, that thing right there. And when that at the end of the year, when I get that tax return, if I do it correctly, I'll put some into that account, and then cocaine and hookers, of course.
You got to always treat yourself, right?
Yes.
So for sure, you also take care of yourself, buy yourself a nice purse or whatever, right? Watch, whatever you want. The other portion of it, I would say, when you get the return, a good thing to do is always reinvest it, put in your TFSA, right? That's a good one. Buy some real estate, I think is a good one as well too. But make sure you invest it. So as a takeaway, 4 accounts. So HST, take that right off the top, put it away. You'll get a refund if you put it all right away. So how it's supposed to work is you're supposed to pay, you get the write-offs from the HST portion of the expenses as well too. So if one of your cost of sales is, I don't know, say it's 30%, right? What it costs you per transaction, the HST portion, you can write off from the HST you get, and then you pay less. So that means you have a little bit left over that goes back to, in theory, it's supposed to go to pay those expenses. So I think a good rule of thumb, put that all away, HST, save a third for your taxes, another third for running your business. And it may not cost you a third to run your business right now, but if you use that money and reinvest it in whatever you're doing for lead generation, whether it's online, postcards, whatever, client gifts, things like that, repeat and referral, promotions, whatever you use, then you'll grow your business exponentially, right? And then the other third is what you actually go spend on. And from that third, you can divide it into further amounts if you want to. And that's your own personal budget. That's your own personal house. So you use that to pay your rent or your mortgage. Use that to eat. Use that to buy clothing. Use that to reinvest it for yourself. And so many different options from that. But that's just on you kind of thing. All right. Download the chart of accounts from the MREA model from the book. It's still really relevant, I think. And don't beat yourself up if you're not following it exactly, but it should be a good rule of thumb. It's really hard to follow exactly, particularly if you have a lower amount of transactions And it's funny enough, as you get, I think there's like three different models or three different examples that they use in the MREA. But as you get to the higher levels and you make more money, you make over $1 million in gross commission income as a team or whatever, then your cost of sales is a little bit different than if you're just a solo agent running around with making 50,000 a year, 100,000 a year, 200,000 a year, right? Okay, so purchase or download tax accounting software. I personally like QuickBooks, but it's not really easy to use. It's not very user friendly, I find. There's a few other ones that are pretty good, like Wave. What else is good? FreshBooks is a good one. Zero, I hear, is pretty popular as well too. But I would absolutely use that. If you're just a single agent budget, then there's the free one, Quicken, I think, or Mint. Mint is a good one too for personal finance as well too. But I would absolutely recommend you do a accounting software, whether you pay for it or it's free. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, just have something that you can have an accountant that goes in and looks at it at the end of the year. So the next point is hire an accountant, obviously, to do that. So how much should you pay for an accountant? I don't know. It really depends on how much you need them for. I pay for bookkeeping, so it costs me $169 a month for the real estate business. And then, but if you don't do bookkeeping, that's fine. When I first started, I think it was only like $500 or $600 or $300 or 800 or something, 200 or whatever it is, right? But now it's a little more. For me, it's a little more expensive. It's like $5,000 for the year, but it really depends on what your accountant offers. But I would recommend getting somebody that's good as well. Set dates to calculate and pay your estimated taxes. So Ted mentioned really quickly that he pays it quarterly, which is awesome, and that's what you should be doing. And just remit it straight to the CRA. Get a refund at the end of the year. So make sure you do that, and then prepare yourself for future. What does it say there? Future insurance savings investments. Oh, I have a really good talk on YouTube, I think, about insurance. So life insurance is a great policy, and if you guys don't have whole life insurance, it's really, really good as you make more income. I think it's really good to protect your family that way, and you can also use it as an investment vehicle, which is pretty awesome. All right, next slide. Where are we at? Profit
Can I
first.
able to interrupt for a second? It's Amanda here.
Hi, Amanda.
I saw on the last slide that with accountant, it said to hire a lawyer as well. What's the reasoning for having a lawyer?
These slides are very American, right? So it doesn't really apply as much here. The reason why you would need a lawyer here is to set up your PREC, if anything, your professional real estate corporation.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And maybe if you get to a little more advanced levels, setting up trusts and wills and things like that, right? Wills and estates, you definitely should have a will, especially if you have a family. And yeah, that's why.
Okay.
And maybe even family law, things like that, prenups, all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, I thought maybe like in regards to your everyday business, but yeah, those kind of things make sense.
Yeah. There's another question. Oh yeah, Profit First. That was a good Mike McAllowitz, I think. Mike Key Handlebars, whatever it's called. That's a really good book too. So he talks about putting profit first as the main indicator of your business, and I think that's really important. So 33% of it, they said 30%, 40% should be your goal for profit.
Ted, it's Ted again here, Ken.
Hey.
Just off of that book, I read that one and it's really great. The entire concept of it is to break your accounts up, like really, like that's the most important thing. And to make it really simple, when you go to a restaurant, if they give you a gigantic plate, you're gonna eat the whole plate. Most of us will, and if they give it to you in different little plates or containers that are ready to go home, like you won't eat the whole thing. It's the same thing with your money. If that big fat check comes in for the first time and you put it in your checkings account, you will eat that thing so fast. So to create different portals, accounts for where your money goes and just break it up first. And that's actually, for me, is one of my favorite things. When I get a check, I now get excited for that process of when the check comes in, and I can then divvy it up into the spots that it needs to go. For me, that's the habit that I've built that I get excited for. It's weirdly, that's my favorite part of getting paid, is when I can put them in the right spots and see those accounts move in the way I like them to.
That's funny enough, because that's not your personality profile, is it?
I don't know.
You're not high C, are you?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Not at all. But that's
accountant personality types get a kick out of that,
Yeah.
counting the right beans and putting in the right places and stuff. But for someone like you, that's strange that you actually like that. So it's a really good habit that you've built.
I started it really early. I remember when I got my first real big check, and I was in the productivity coaching program way when it began, and JG was the coach then. And I got that first check, and I called him. I was like, I don't know what to do now. Like, I'm gonna just blow this so fast. So just educating yourself, and that's one of the great things about this company is there's so many people that are willing to, like what you're doing right now, share this and what works and what's kept you in the business so long and profitable, doing smart things like this, figuring it out from other people that have failed already.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. So, talking about those habits though, it just, you get a kick out of, you see some money coming in your account and you just kind of punch it out and put it in there. The problem with that, like, well, with my personality type anyway, I get too busy and I just don't think about it. I'm like, oh, I forgot about it. Right. So it's like, if you have that already somehow set up on autopilot, if all the money goes through your accountant and they're the ones who does it all, that's amazing. If you somehow just create that habit, however you do it, whether it's automatic withdrawals or whatever it is, right? The easier you have that set up for you, the better it is, so that you know that you have your personal bank account. And that's why I'm saying get the 3 bank accounts or 4 bank accounts. Sorry. When you have that third bank account, that personal bank account, that's when you run out your budget off, right? Because so many of the agents in our, well, not our office, but in this industry they're always running into tax problems. Right. And I'm the broker of record at the downtown office. So I get to see who's garnished, and it's no personal knock to anybody because I've been there myself. I haven't been garnished, but I've been there where it's like, oh crap, how am I going to pay this? Right. So if you don't set those habits up early, it'll really hurt you in the future. Really hurt you. So another way to kind of ease through it all is just make more money. I know it sounds really simple and it sounds easier said than done, and everybody wants it. But if you make enough, then you'll have more to work with, right?
Yeah, but it's Ted again. If you've got bad habits, you can't out earn bad habits, right? So
I agree.
An agent who's making $100,000 or grossing $100,000 can, if they're smart with it, be way more profitable than somebody that's bringing in $12 million.
That's right.
Right? If you're spending like a crazy person and not setting up these accounts and being smart with it, think longevity.
That's right. And if you guys have gone through the course, I don't know if there's a red light, green light. Have you heard of that concept? So
like Squid Games?
Yeah.
I haven't watched this. I don't know. I guess so. But it's
just yes. Say yes.
Yes, that's exactly it. Like Squid Games. So if it's red light and you feel like you're spending way over that account has in that money account for the running your business or whatever, and you'd be like, oh shoot, maybe I shouldn't follow that whatever subscription or whatever, right? Maybe I should stop that online lead generation thing because it's not working properly. And when you get really good at it and tracking your results and seeing where the business comes from, and you realize that this X is profitable, then you're gonna pour like X amount of money into that X account, right? Like it's just, that's where the green light comes in, right? If you could spend $1 to make 4, wouldn't you just put everything you had in that $1 account? So that's what red light, green light's talking about. And that's a good thing. All right. What else do we have here? Any other slides? I think we have to get into lead generation. All right. So what was your thinking has changed? What do you feel? Man, this is a little advanced for me. How do you guys feel so far? I tune anybody out? Some people dropped off. It's okay. But a lot of people are still here, so that's good. Okay, let's go next slide. All right, so here's the second part of it. This is going to be the what KW typically, or the Red Book generally called, the economic model on how to get your business. So I've heard multiple things where it's 40 conversations or even 50 conversations to one closed sale. Now, that's not a rule of thumb. I mean, that's just a rule of thumb. It's not like an actual science. It's not actually proven or anything. I haven't seen it proven. But I find that the more people you talk to, the better. So in this example, let's just say 40 conversations to one deal. We got a hand up, I think. Greg, what's going on?
Yeah, hey, so I just want some clarification on what exactly is a conversation? Like, is a conversation, like if I'm cold calling and I talk to 10 people offering a home evaluation and they say, nope, not interested, and they hang up the phone. Like, to me, that doesn't necessarily count as a conversation, but what is, like, is a conversation someone with like a lead who's actually planning on moving, or is
That
it,
counts to me, man.
No, it doesn't. Not to me.
Different folks, different strokes.
That's right. So, like, why even bother phone dials? Like, why bother tracking dials? That's the way I look at it. Ted might be different, but the way I look at it is why bother tracking dials?
Mhm.
Just so you check it off your box. Maybe you gamify it to be like, oh, I made 100 dials today. Great. But like, to me, it's like, that doesn't count for anything. A real conversation is somebody where you're talking to like, hey, Greg, so it's Ken here. I know you guys have been in your house for what? How long you guys been in your house now? We got you there, what, 5 years ago, I think? Was that right? Trying to role play with you right now.
Oh yeah, it was about 5 years ago.
5 years ago. That's amazing. That's great. What are you guys doing for your mortgage refinance renewal? Shouldn't it be up soon?
Yeah, it's coming up in the next few months actually, where you're going to be renewing it.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Hey, are you still in touch with your old mortgage broker that we referred you to?
No, they've actually retired just recently.
Oh, no way. Okay. Well, hey, look, listen, I got this great guy that I'm working with right now, a great gal that I'm working with. She's really amazing, and I want to refer you over to him. But before you talk to anybody, and I don't care who you can use anybody you want. But before you talk to them, think about what are you guys doing for real estate for the next year? Are you thinking about investing into real estate?
We haven't thought about investing. We know we're not going to move, but yeah, we haven't even considered investing at all.
Well, hey, man, like if you guys have been there for 5 years, like your values have shot up like crazy. It's if not almost doubled from what you bought it from. It's wild, the market right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I've seen some pretty crazy things happening.
Okay, so we got this really good opportunity right now. We've been helping a lot of clients get investment properties. Have you ever thought of something like that since your mortgage is up for renewal anyway?
No, I haven't. I have never thought about that. No.
Yeah. So, okay, let me set you up with this person, this mortgage broker that I work with. They're really amazing. They might be able to refinance some capital out of your property because right now it's sitting off in your mortgage, just sitting there doing nothing. So why don't you put to work and let it, pay itself down, pay off another property for you? Wouldn't it be great for your kids if in 25 years you had a mortgage that's completely paid off?
Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Right. So that to me is a conversation, an actual conversation. Not like, hey, you want to buy or sell your home, they hang up on you. That doesn't count as a conversation to me.
Yeah, totally. I agree. Okay.
So
cool.
in our system, we have, I count it now as 3 minutes for timing. So if you make a call over 3 minutes, and it's not just like, hey, I'm busy, call me later, bye. Because in our system, that will automatically count as a dial. But I want to make it so that every 3 minute conversations count as a conversation. Some people use 5 minutes, some people use 2 minutes. Some people just, manually do it. That works too. Okay, so add 10 contacts a day to your database, because in any business there's database churn. People fall off your database. Their brother or sister gets a real estate license, the best friend, whatever it is, they get a real estate license, or they move out of the country, they move away. So your database will shrink. I think the rule is by 20% a year. So you got to continually add a certain number of contacts a day. So that means going out there and generating leads, whether it's knocking on doors, making phone calls, networking, going to an event with a goal of making 10 contacts in mind, going to a wedding, for example. And it's a little bit harder with COVID now. So, it's hard to get into big gatherings, but just do your best for how you meet people. The restaurant that you go to, the Thai restaurant that you go to every day, Michael. Yeah. Right? You've already made that contact with them and you're going to be helping them buying a new location, right? So that works.
2-3 deals out of that potential 1 week.
Yeah. Botter's girlfriend owns a club, right? That's like nonstop lead generation. You just sit there and people bring you shots and all you have to do is just convince them to buy real estate or have a conversation about buying real estate, right? Or just add them to your database first. Hey, do you have Instagram? Do you have Facebook? Whatever. Let's chat about, what do you do? Oh, I'm in real estate. Great. Well, what's your plans for real estate? How many properties you own? What are you doing? Have you thought about investing in real estate? Where do you live? Things like that, right? So add those contacts, and then you set an appointment with them, and then you talk about real estate later. You're not in a club environment, not at a restaurant where they're busy, not at the wedding, things like that. And handwritten notes. I think it's a little bit old school personally, but sometimes they work. It's nice to receive a handwritten note in your mail every once in a while, especially if somebody did something really nice for you. But like, I think some of the KW courses teach you to do handwritten notes for everything. Like, hey, thanks for your time. Glad having a conversation with you. Like, so just do something, whatever it might be. And the last one I think is very important. Do home previews. So if you don't know what's in the market, how are you going to sell what you have, right? Like all that stuff before, when you're going out to meet people, they're going to ask you one thing. Who knows what that one thing is? Who knows? Shut it out. How's the market?
What's the market doing?
That's it. How's the market? Well, it depends. Are you buying or selling, investing in real estate? Well, it's so like, it sounds cheesy to me too, right? But you do use your own variation of that. And if you don't know what's on the market, then how are you going to sell it? Right? Like I was just looking at a house the other day that was beautiful, and it's corner unit. And I personally like corner units because there's a lot of light, and yes, there's a lot more traffic, but you get light from all sorts of the corners. Nobody instructing you, and it's really cool. And I thought it was such a great deal. It was at 2.475 million when everything in that area. And I think I just sold them for 2.65, and there's another one around the corner that was renovated, so for 3.2 million. But 2.487 million, I think, was such a good deal. Right? So I know, Botter, you've been looking at buying a house and moving up your family. You want to go check it out?
Sure.
Look how easy that is to talk to people about real estate when they ask you how the market is, right? If you don't know what you're talking about, you don't know what's on the market, how are you going to have those conversations? So I think you need to really understand and go preview those homes and actually see what's out there. All right, next slide, please. Any questions? What are the alternatives? Alternatives to what? Like to handwritten notes and phone calls and all that. I don't think that's a class for this one. You probably get that in another class in your Ignite classes, but there's many forms of lead generation. If you don't like door knocking and cold calling, which are probably the most effective ways of getting through numbers, if you don't like it, then don't do it. So, all right. Lead generation scripts. What am I supposed to be talking about here? Any questions so far? Any comments?
Did you, sorry, I don't know if I missed it. It's Ted again. Did you
Okay.
talk about incorporating it all?
I did. Yeah, I talked about it in the
Damn
beginning. I said, if you have any money left over at the end of the year, then I would say incorporate. If you feel like you got a grasp of your expenses and you're getting revenue coming in more than you have expenses, then yeah, I would do it. But if you're struggling to meet bills and you're running off a line of credit or whatever, then it's probably not worth it at that point, because you're not going to get really any savings. But again, talk to your accountant, talk to your lawyer, talk to a professional, not me, because I'm not a lawyer or an accountant. So talk to them to get some better advice. All right. So I think we're supposed to run through some scripts, but I think I kind of did that already. Anybody have a scenario? Anybody want to role play right now? Anybody? Just unmute. All right. So I think when you're talking to somebody, when you're talking to a lead, oh, here's another thing about leads and opportunities. Ooh, I want to talk about that really quickly. How many of you guys have websites out there, the lead generation websites? Just raise your hand, shout it out. I can't see anybody's screen here. Maybe we can do it really quickly. A lot of you might have, let me turn galleries mode. There we go. Anybody have lead generation sites? Yeah. Okay. Well, if you are, a lot of people make the mistake that you get 200 leads a month or whatever it is, 500 leads a month, 100 leads a month, 10 leads a month, whatever. Those aren't leads. They're opportunities. They're not only on your site, they're on everybody else's site too. And even converting them, even getting to an appointment, it's really hard. So I wouldn't count those people as leads. I would focus on getting qualified leads, running through scripts. We have a simple script, LP Mama, right? If you guys have heard of that. So if you want to get a pen, write down, that's great. But it's location. Where are you looking? You have price. What budget are you thinking about? What have you been pre-approved for it? Mortgage, right? Have you been pre-approved for a mortgage? All right. Talk about an agent. Are you working with any agents right now? And the other M would be a motivation. What's your motivation for moving? And you don't say it in a way where it's like, what's your motivation for moving? You'd say it in a way where like, so what's causing you to what's prompting you to make this move? Right? What's that?
What's your timeline?
Yeah. What's your timeline? When are you thinking of doing it? Talking a short-term thing. It's like if you find a good deal kind of thing. Say you're looking at long-term. If you found a good deal. Okay. Well, why is that important to you? What's important about that? Why do you want a good deal? Is it you don't like your place now? You need more bedrooms? What is it? Just uncover the motivation. That's probably the biggest one and spend a lot more time on that. And then the last A would be appointment. Close for the appointment, right? Get them into your office, get them out on the road, whatever it is, just get them to an appointment to meet you where it's nice and quiet. You can talk one-on-one and corner in the room and just high pressure sales them. I'm just joking. Okay. All right, next. What else for you? Next slide. What do we got here? Am I supposed to have scripts here? Oh yeah, do not call list. I don't know how our do not call list works. I think we have one through the office. So talk to somebody in our office or your offices really to get the DNC list. Make sure you don't cold call people that are unsubscribed from that because first of all, you're going to piss them off. So let alone that is not legal. You're just going to piss them off and you'll never do business with them, right? So just make sure you check that. All right, next one. What? An hour of calling scripts? You guys have to actually really sit through this. I'm sorry for that. But you know what? Honestly, I'm just joking. All joking aside though, you really should learn your scripts inside out. Spend some time really learning them so you can internalize them when something comes up, like commission handling or commission injections or yeah, that's the biggest one we usually get, right? What you do?
Why they should choose us.
Why I should choose you? Yeah, I don't think they really come out and say that straight up to you. Like, hey, why should we pick you?
Yeah.
But it's more like when you're talking to them, when you first introduce yourself, that should be some of your value proposition of why they're picking you over somebody else. I would say the commission handling is probably the biggest one. What do you do for 3%? What do you do for 3.5%? What do you do for 4%? Will you sell my home for 4%? Hey, this guy next door is doing it for 4%. Will you? Right. So what do you say to that? Anybody want to shut one out? Anybody?
Doesn't it matter if it's going to work out for you or not? Because at KW, I don't know if it's like that everywhere in Ontario, but we always have to give 2.5% to the other agent.
Okay, so that's a script that you can use for sure. So,
yes.
So 2.5, but what about the other side?
So
what do you do?
You can explain to them the kind of work that you're providing, but sometimes most of the time it's all about the money. So I feel like maybe if they're if I don't know, I guess what I'm trying to say is that if they really wanted to go with you, or if you see that there's a chance, you should explain to them what kind of work you provide and see if they'll take you at the 5%.
Sorry, who's talking right now?
It's D.
Hi, D. Okay.
Yeah.
So D, my neighbor is willing to sell it. Boo over there is willing to sell it for 3.5%. Can you break that? Can you do better than that?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
This agent over here, Boo, he's just sitting over there. Just one of our staff. I was just kind of using a name. He is. I'm just trying to role play with you right now. Okay.
Okay.
So I just met with another agent, and he's willing to sell my house for 3.5%. How much are you going to sell yours? What's your commission?
Okay. Like 5%.
But the other guy said he was going to do it for 3.5%.
Okay. Then I would explain. Sorry, I know I'm not role playing, but then I would explain my portfolio and what I'm providing for that client, and then look at the response back, and then go from there. Okay.
So this is why it's important. I'm not role playing anymore right now, but
Yes,
this is why
yes.
it's important to really internalize those scripts. So you're not sitting there like, yes, right? Just like that. So you really know off the top of your head right away what you're going to say. So what you said about that 2.5% was a great script to start with, right?
Okay.
So, Miss Home Seller, my professional fee is actually 5% plus HST. That's what we typically charge. Ready to sign? You good with that? You're gonna say no. The other guys want to do it for less. Can you do it for less? Like, well, I mean, look, our office has a policy where we don't discount the commissions, 2.5% to the cooperating brokerage side. That automatically gets knocked off the total 5%. So it's not like I get the full 5%.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right. But you can imagine that we have three things that we got to focus on, right? So the first third is to pay taxes. Everybody's got to pay taxes. You pay taxes in your job as well too, and it's just something we have to do. The other third of that 2%, 2.5% that we get is used towards marketing your home. And the other third goes to my profit, to running the business as well too. So which of those thirds can I take the money from? Which of those, you don't say that to them because it's kind of like,
Yes,
it's too confrontational, right? But you could say things like, like, unfortunately, I just don't have room to discount that commission, unfortunately. Other people might do it for less, but what does that mean for how, when it comes to negotiating for your home and standing up for the price of your home, what are they going to do? Are they going to drop the pants right away when it comes to, protecting your house, the commission on your house, or the price of your house?
Yeah, you're right. But there is still people out there that provide that, and people know that. But I guess like most agents who are good at what they do wouldn't do that discount because they know that's what it takes to run their business.
Dee, can I ask you a question? Personal
Yes.
question. Do you like shopping at Whole Renfrew, or do you like shopping at Walmart for your clothes?
First one.
What kind of car do
please.
you drive? Wait, what kind of car do you drive? Sorry.
I drive a GLC 300.
Oh, of course, Mercedes, the best car in the world, right? Would you ever go to Hyundai?
I wouldn't
no,
want
not the people
to.
have Hyundais, right? But right?
Yeah.
There's so many value questions like that. That's the script that I've learned over the years.
Yes.
But the easier that you memorize those scripts, the better it is, right? At the end of the day, it comes to a value play. Like you can get the cheapest for sure. And, unfortunately, I'm Mr. Seller. I'm not the one that's the cheapest, to be honest, to be upfront with you, but I will do the best. And at the end of the day, what you pay me is not that important. What I net you is the most important.
So not everybody that I serve will know that I'm a newer agent. So not everybody will know that, but the ones that know that, they're going to be like, okay, in their head, they may not confront it to me. They're going to be like, oh, you're newer. Like, why are you so, in their head, like, why are you so confident that you can provide like the Halt Renfrew service versus like, you know what I mean? Because
you want somebody confident working for you. You want somebody not so confident working for you. First of all, I'm confident because I believe in my abilities. My background from where I came from, I know I just joined the real estate community, but I have a great team behind me and a great team leader and a great system and great models behind me that I follow, really. But I'm taking my experience from my previous job as a copywriter, and I'm going to be using that as, as the best damn copywriter out there. So I'm going to be the best damn real estate agent out there for you, be working the hardest for you. So I believe that I deserve the full fee. And obviously you don't say this because it's really confrontational.
Yeah,
I'm trying
yeah.
not to do that, right? But in a real life situation, it's just how you twist your tongue.
How you word, yes.
And if you are spending that time, so there's a stat out there that says, 50% or 57% or something, like a really high percentage is how you deliver what you say. And then the other like 10%, 15%, something like that is like the tonality. And then like a small percentage, like 7% is the actual words that you say.
Okay.
Right. And if you're spending all that time and you don't know the scripts internalized and you're spending all that time on that 7% of the words that actually that you're saying, then what about the other stuff? The 93% of the stuff you should be focusing on. Body language, tonality, that kind of stuff. Okay. NLP, right? So this is why it's important, even though those scripts sound very canned and they sound like they're not you, the quicker you remember what that script says and word by word, and the quicker you remember word by word, the quicker you remember what they're trying to get across. And what they're trying to get across is when you adapt that scenario to that person you're sitting in front of.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. All right, I think that's it for the video. I mean, for the course materials, I think I'm supposed to go for scripts for an hour, but I'm happy to continue on if you have any questions and make it interactive. I'm gonna unpin myself. I don't know how to do that. Unpin, move spotlight. There we go. So if anybody wants to shout, unmute yourself and let's talk. Even either of you guys out here as well if you have any questions. Okay. That's it. Everyone's asleep. Nope. You guys are great. Everybody's paying attention in Ignite, right? And loving instructors. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties I had this morning. All right, we've got a raised hand. Greg, what's going on?
Hey, I just wanted to continue that commission conversation and see, like you personally, do you have different like commission packages where if someone wants to pay 4%, 5%, 6%, you offer different services? Or do you?
Yeah. So I've seen people have it in like a laminated sheet that they give out to people. This is before like technology was involved, and you can just put on your iPad and show it in front of them and then take it away after you're done, right? So they did that, so it's laminated, so it's like it doesn't change. It's like it was kind of an old school tactic. But they had a silver, gold, and platinum package, right? So you can certainly do that and outline what it is. But like nowadays, everybody offers virtual tours, everybody offers floor plans, everybody offers, you know, all that stuff. So I say, you know what, Mr. and Miss Seller, I'll include it all. I'll include it all for our fee. If you want to pay less, sure, we'll take, you know, maybe we won't do staging for you, right? Or so basically, in essence, no, I don't have different packages anymore because everybody does it. Like everybody gives you everything for 3.5%.
Right. Okay. Because I haven't had this objection yet, but I can see someone when we come down to commission says, "Oh, yeah, okay, so you're asking me to, you're saying your rate is 6%, but you're also not going to do any less work for 4%. So why don't we just do 4%?"
I never said I was going to do for 4%, Greg. Mr. Seller.
Okay, sorry, I'm thinking of a previous conversation. So a little backstory then. So
Sure.
when we spoke with some other agents, they do, or when I spoke with some other agents, they do the same amount of work regardless of what the commission is.
I see.
So assuming we've had that conversation with the seller and they go, okay, so whether you charge, whether we do a 4% or a 6% rate, the amount of work is going in, that's going in is going to be the same. You're going to do the same photo, video, marketing, et cetera, et cetera. So Mr. Agent, how come we don't just do the 4%? The full amount. If you're
Well, I mean, there's several factors as to why I don't do a discounted commission like that. There's first of all, half of it goes to the other side, right? And then there's basically, imagine a third for everything else. We have a third for taxes, a third for your marketing, and a third for, frankly, my incentive to work for you. So if I take from any of those third, which it sounds like the other agent's taking from their incentive to work from you, how's that really going to help your listing at the end of the day?
Okay, cool. So it's not so much about what you're providing them, it's more so like what other people are taking away from their, I guess, splits kind of thing.
Well,
it's like, I'm not going to go from 6% to 4% because then that's eating away at my, or the reason why my rate is at 6% is because I have all these other things to pay for, I guess. Like, I'm not going to say that to someone, but it's essentially like, it's not so much about the services, but kind of how it's being divided amongst people.
So that's why I'm asking you to internalize that script. And if you remember, I said that I used the script like 30 minutes ago, I think, or whatever it was, 20 minutes ago, right? So the essence of the script is half of that 6% or 4%, whatever it is, 2.5% of that already is gone.
Right.
Right. So at 4%, they have, so let's say 2.5%. So let's say 5% versus 4%. Let's just say that. Okay. So out of the 5% that we charge, 2.5% goes to the other side. If somebody's doing for 4, that means they're doing for 1.5%. That means they're already discounting by 40% what they're going to get on their end. And as you remember, a third of that goes to taxes, a third goes to marketing your home, and a third goes to my incentive to working for you, for coming up and showing up and doing all the things I have to do.
Right.
So which third do you think they're taking it from?
Probably the incentive.
Yeah. You can't take away from taxes. You got to pay taxes no matter what.
Yeah.
Right. Marketing your home, that's not a wise thing to do. Or they might be taking it from there. I don't know. Maybe they're skimping on marketing. They say they're doing all these things. Maybe it's just a budget version of it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Right. So again, remember, you just internalize that script, that third, like basically take away half, then you have the 3/3.
Right. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
No worries. When I say taxes, you can always say office splits as well too, and things like that. But yeah, look, remember that, Greg, if you're sitting in front of the client already, like I think it was 75% of agents out there, or 75% of consumers only interview one agent, and like 85% interview two. Right. So if you're sitting in front of that table, there's a very high chance you're going to get that job, as long as you don't mess it up and don't say stupid things. Right. As long as you're just sitting in front of the table, you're going to get the listing. Just keep that in mind as well too. So that might help with your confidence when coming to the commission handling.
Okay,
And
well, yeah,
that's not, I'm not trying to sit on a high horse and say that we always take full commission at a time, like full meaning 5%. It's not saying that we always take our 5% all the time. Sometimes we have to take a discount. It's a business decision, right? Because you have some sellers that are just really numbers oriented and they really focus on that extra discount. So something you could say to them is, what's important to you? What I net or what I net you?
nice.
Right.
Okay.
And then another script you can use from that is like saying, now, if the other side's going to do it for less, think about how it comes to negotiating. If they can't even negotiate their own commission, how are they going to negotiate on your behalf to get you the most money
Yeah,
possible?
And so do you split whatever commission you charge, whether it's 5% or 4.5%, do you split that down the middle and half goes to the buyer, half goes to?
No. Well, so Mr. Gregory Seller, usually what we do is I know there's a whole anti-competitive thing that went out on CBC article. You heard about that, I'm sure, where they said that commission steering or whatever, right? So some agents were, sorry?
I can't say I heard that one or I saw that
Okay.
one.
Yeah. I mean, everybody saw it in the news. It was a big thing and it thankfully didn't blow up that big. But anyway, the idea was that some agents were steering their buyers away from low commission sales, like people offering 1% commissions on the listing side. Right. And, because CBC Marketplace found this out, it went everywhere. And then RICO issued a statement saying, or RIA, sorry, issued a statement saying that that's illegal. You can't do that. If they want to see it, you have to show it to them, even if it's 1%, whatever, right? But we know for a fact that in practice, most people, like, why set yourself up for failure, right? Why market yourself lower than everybody else? So on the cooperating brokerage side, like as to whoever's bringing the buyer in, we generally offer 2.5%, and I would recommend to you to keep it at that amount.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. That's the script I would use.
Appreciate all that.
No worries. All right. Anyone come challenge me for a script off? Bring it. Anyone? No? Okay, well, I hope you guys are excited about being in this industry if you're just starting out. Huh?
There's a question.
Got a hand up? All right, shut it out. Don't put your hand up, just shout it out.
Hi, about all the scripts that we're supposed to be reading. I have a script book and it's like 336 pages.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering, like, just when I look at it, it just looks like it's way too much to even start.
Yeah, it's overwhelming, isn't it?
Yeah, and so I try to read a little bit, but then it just all goes into all these different things. So I'm just wondering if there's a handier one of basics.
The only way I would say is to have the experience and go through the situations. Now, I wouldn't want to, I'm just going to mute you, Andre. I wouldn't want to practice on an actual client or lead.
Right.
Right. So if that's incentive to actually study it. Right. I don't think we have, I don't know if we have or not, but when you get a little too simplified, like it's hard to, in other words, it's really hard to categorize how every single script would be without going into that much detail, like there's so many different ways to say it. Like the commission handling one, I just give you three scripts already. So that's why it kind of gets really out of hand and it's really hard to, like, it seems like a lot, but once you understand it and you digest the material and spend the time understanding the material, then you really understand what the theory of what they're saying is.
And going
Right.
back to being a new person, last week I went door knocking,
Mhm.
and 3 out of the maybe 8 people that opened the door asked me if I was new,
Yep.
and then said, "Good luck."
Well, maybe they
How
smelled
much-
it on you. They smelled the
Just-
newness on you. They smelled the newbiness on you. Use it to
Yeah.
your advantage.
And they
Honestly,
just looked at me with pity and said, "Good luck."
use it to your advantage. Use it to your advantage. Be like, I'm new. Give me a chance. I'm trying really hard.
That's what I said. I said, "Yeah, that's why I'm knocking on your door. I need help in this business. I need referrals because I'm going up against big teams. And if you can help me, if you know of anyone that you can
Like-
send my way."
If you think
etc.
about it this way, Patricia, if you are going to sell the biggest asset in your life, who do you trust yourself to sell to? Who are you going to ask to help you with it? It's your biggest investment. It's your biggest asset.
I don't know. I don't know who I would use before I was a real estate. Oh yeah, I know. I would ask somebody that I trusted if they knew anyone.
Right. We're in the business
For
of selling.
sure.
We're in the business of trust. That's what we're in. We're not selling homes. We're selling trust.
Yeah,
People
but I'm
do
knocking
business
on
with
this door
trust.
and this person doesn't even know me. Why would they refer anyone to me?
Why not? Maybe they like the way you dress. Maybe they like the way your mannerisms are. Maybe they like the way that the things you're saying about how I'm going to work 10 times harder than any existing agent out there. You're just a number to them.
Mhm.
You're my biggest client. You'll be my biggest client. When you work with
Right.
me, I'll do everything possible to prove myself, everything. And I have the experience in the team of my team member, or team leader right behind me, who's got 20 years of experience. So don't worry about the experience part of it. Like we work together as a team, right?
I did say those things and it did come out rough, but I guess I just need to practice because they did give me their info.
So that's
It's back in
another
the
key
phone.
reason to practice on these scripts and read that 300-page book instead of practicing on leads, because you only get that one opportunity. That
That's
one
right.
opportunity you have. Next time Patricia knocks on my door, I'm not even going to answer it because I know who she is,
Right.
right? I know what she's going to ask for. She's asking for business.
Hmm.
But if you come up there and you hit it at a gate the first time you met them because you've practiced your scripts, you read that, you spent the 8 weeks reading that 300-page book, then you come across better, right? Like they always say about that person hitting that tree or whatever, right? I don't know what that story is, but like cutting down that tree, spending 12 hours, whatever. Somebody just goes out with a blunt axe. The other guy spends like 11 and a half hours sharpening the axe and just one knocks down. Like, I don't remember what that story is, but you know what I mean? Like you gotta spend
Yeah.
that time practicing. I think at the end of the day, there's no way around it. And you have to do it daily. This goes for my own team as well, too, guys. We got to start practicing scripts every single day, every single morning. Find a role play partner. And it sounds
keep hearing
super
that.
cheesy. Sounds super, super cheesy. The scripts the way they are. But the more you read it, the more you memorize it. The more you memorize it, the more you realize, oh, that's what they're trying to talk about. One half
Yeah.
and then the third and the third, or whatever, right? You're trying to hit them at the right point.
Right. It's awesome.
Right. So without hitting your numbers, like, look, real estate is just a numbers game at the end of the day. Sales, self-employed sales, business owner, anything. It's just a numbers game. Talk to more people, get more business. Get more business, then we can start talking about put your money in savings and investing and all that kind of stuff. Until then, don't even worry about that. Worry about getting more business.
Hmm.
Kenneth, just a quick question I got there. If previous business I was into, I sold for a lot of years. I have a lot of contact names, but I don't have the phone numbers, nor do I have the emails. So I'm reaching out through a lot through Facebook Messenger. Is there a certain script? I mean, I guess I'm reaching out with a pretty good stating who I am, and and I got rapport with these people. But again, is there a certain something you can say that's going to grasp their attention to get something back in terms of an email or a phone number, or ask that in the first little bit of talking, like that I'm into this new business and I know we have a relationship from before and I'm looking for referrals, so forth and so on. And I mean, it could be a good email sent a message, or it could be a terrible one. So what's your take on that?
What's your industry that you were in before?
It was car sales. I sold for
Car
Honda
sales.
for 19 years. Yeah.
Wow.
So I got a lot of people, but when I left that business, I couldn't take on if you work in, what I'm trying to say, certain businesses where you sell insurance, you take your customers with you. Customers stay with the dealership. I was just allowed to manage those people. So I wasn't allowed to solicit. Well, I wasn't allowed to take their information in terms of emails, phone numbers, but I do know so many people, hundreds and hundreds, and probably into the thousands that I've sold. But I got a way of getting those names and getting back to who it was. So
Way of
the only
stealing
way
those names.
Pardon me?
A way of stealing those names, you mean? I'm
Well,
joking.
yeah, it's
I'm
not,
joking.
it would be, yeah, I agree with you. It would be soliciting if I was to add another car dealership selling cars, but it's a totally different business. So I don't see it that way. But I just, from posts that I had on Facebook myself through the years, I can go back and look and see who those people were. Unfortunately, I don't have their cell number where I can reach out and text them, or that way, or I don't have their email. So, I basically just said in a nutshell, hi, it's Corey. Hope, everything is great. The family's doing well. Just want to share some exciting news with you that I started in real estate and looking to build my business in that. And we had some great dealings in the past. Have you considered possibly selling your house in the near future? If not, do you have a friend, relative? Made it pretty simple, but is that enough? I mean, or is there something I can add here to really grasp their attention?
Sorry, how many people are we talking about? 2,000 people, you said?
Well, once I get all names, just to say we're into 1,000 names, let's say, just hypothetically.
What if you spent the next, I don't know, year going on 2 appointments a day, 2 drop-bys a day, 3 drop-bys a day?
Okay, so you're referring to what?
Like if you know where they live, if you have their name and you sold their house or you have their address or whatever, drop by and be like, hey, I just want to bring you some coffee. I just want to, are you available? Hey, Corey, it's Ken. I don't know. You may remember me from the Honda sales days. Do you remember? We sold you a Honda about 2 years ago. How are you liking that car, by the way?
That's true. Yes, that's a good suggestion. So you're saying even drop if I can figure out where they live.
Right now. I'm role playing with you right now, right?
Okay, sorry.
Say for you don't even know where they live. Just to say that you have their name, you got their Facebook Messenger, right? You'd be like, hey, Corey, it's Ken. It was your Honda sales guy. Do you remember me? Last time we sold you that red Honda Civic.
Yeah, sure do. Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome, man. Things going great. You like the car? No problems?
Oh, everything's good. Yeah. Everything's great.
Awesome. Hey, well, look, if you ever run any issues, I got a great Honda service guy. I would love to refer you to him. But look, the reason why I'm calling you, or the reason why I'm messaging you, actually, I'm in a new business now, by the way. And I'm no longer selling cars. I'm actually selling houses. So just curious, Who are you working with right now? Are you working with a real estate agent?
We bought our house 5 years ago. I bought it privately, actually. So no, I don't have a real estate agent. I'm not looking to sell immediately or in the near future.
You're being too easy on me, man. So you have a real estate agent. Great. So let's say you do have a real estate agent.
Yeah.
So you do have a real estate agent. Okay, that's amazing. That's a great agent. Hey, listen, man, I'm just starting my business here. I want to do, I served you really, I hope you like the way I served you in the past. I really want to work with you again.
Yeah.
So I would love an opportunity to just sit down with coffee and show you what we offer. And you know what? Actually, I'm looking for some feedback as well too. See how I can improve my my delivery. Are you available next week for coffee?
I'm pretty busy. I got to be honest with you. I got a lot of stuff on the go.
Okay, sounds good. Is any of those things on the go being real estate by any chance?
No, it isn't.
No. Right. Okay. Well, hey, listen, I actually have this new condo that I really want to sell. I saw this really good deal out there. Have you ever thought about investing into real estate?
I've never ever given it any thought, to be honest. No.
Well, look, the reason why I switched into this business is because I believe in it myself, and I was fortunate enough to be able to invest into real estate, and it's done wonders for my life, to be honest. And I want to sit down with you and show you just, a quick conversation about investing in real estate. I'll show you the basics of it. Are you interested in sitting down? Why don't we just sit down next week?
Yeah, I can make that happen. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
I think it's probably good. It'll just honestly, all you need is 30 minutes of your time, and I'll be on there.
Sounds great.
Sounds good. Cool.
Okay, I'll give you my phone number. We can get back and get the details exactly of when and where. Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Perfect. Good talking to you.
So instead of sending a mass message to everybody, I would do a one-on-one, introducing yourself, because again, you only get that one shot to get them.
Now that's great. That's great what you just said. Great role play. But again, if I know the people, I know where a lot of people lives. A lot of people. Again, I don't have my old system to go back into to see their address. But how do I make that phone call like we just did in that role play if I don't have their phone number?
I'm talking about as a message, right? This could be like a Facebook message or something that you found them through, right?
Okay. Do it that way.
So
too,
introduce yourself. And the first thing I asked you was how you liking that car, right? Are you having any problems with it? Can I offer you some assistance? Do you need a good mechanic? Do you need window tinting, whatever it is? Come from contribution, offering them something. And then pivot to something else. Be like, hey, by the way, I just want to reach out to you because I'm starting a new career in real estate.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Right. And just get that personal connection. That's how I would do it.
So even though it's a message, try to set something up to where you can meet with that person one way or another.
Yep.
LP Mama.
And LP Mama them. Yep.
What was that?
Use that script I was talking about, LP Mama. Location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage, and appointment.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. You got another hand up. Devin, what's going on?
Hey, not too much. How you doing today?
All right.
Awesome. So this one's a little bit off tangent, but just something that I have been struggling with myself is I'm kind of venturing into real estate part-time right now. I currently work full-time for a plumbing and HVAC wholesaler in outside sales. So there's actually a lot of crossover. Like a lot of my customers are do their own real estate developments, purchasing a lot of vacant land for further projects. But when I started with the Terry Hastings group out of Wyerton, we kind of came to the conclusion that I should not cross the two businesses. But because there's so much overlap right now, I feel like maybe I'm losing out on potential business by not letting my current customers know that I'm in real estate, but also don't want to be doing it on Wolseley time.
Well, I'm saying don't do it. Sorry, I don't know what those companies are. So I don't know if you're talking about a company that you're working for or something, but I wouldn't do anything that's illegal. I wouldn't, if your company procedure is not to sell your existing database, then I wouldn't do that. Right.
Right.
But if that's not the case and you're looking to make an exit anyway, then I would bring something to that developer, because if you're working with those developers, they need to build other projects. Right. So bring them a deal.
Right.
The next time you drop off your plumbing supplies to them, you're like, hey, did you see this? I got this one great off-market opportunity. Maybe you don't have it, maybe you do. Or I saw this one listing. If you preview homes, you would know which is a good deal and which is not.
Yeah.
Right. And if you want to get their business for buying and selling, then I would focus more on the buying side first. Maybe if anything, door knock the area that you think they're going to be working on. And find them a deal, and maybe look for the sellers. Be like, hey, I work in a plumbing company, and I deal with contractors. Not even say that. Don't even say that. But like, when you're talking to a lead and you're knocking the door for finding a home seller, right? Be like, hey, look, I have a big database of builders. Are you looking to sell your home for top dollar? Right, and then you look for a seller, and then once you have that seller in hand, bring it to all your buyers, which is all your contractors. I mean, all the developers.
All developers. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a great strategy. Yeah. And I'm just struggling with for example, I got a large customer who does some large developments down in Durham, Ontario, is the town that he's out of. And I go see him every Tuesday morning, right? Every Tuesday morning I go in, I take an order for Wolseley, which is the plumbing HVAC wholesaler I work for, take an order for them, shoot the shit, just kind of that, back and forth banter, it's just small talk and stuff like that. And I've been meaning to, but get the real estate kind of bug in his ear, but it's like, I don't really want to be doing that while I'm there on Wolseley time. So maybe it's like, hit him up, say, hey, maybe after hours we can go out and have a coffee or something and chat some real estate. But
don't beat around the bush when you're talking to somebody in that situation. I would go straight up to them. Here's your plumbing supplies. Everything's great. Awesome. Hey, by the way, I'm actually thinking of making a move into real estate.
Right.
And see what they say. See what the reaction is based on that. Oh yeah, that's great. I think you'd be amazing at it. Cool. Awesome. So who are you using right now for your sales and buying and selling? Well, I don't commit to anybody. Whoever brings me a deal is what I go for. Okay. Would you be open to some opportunity if I bring you some?
Yeah.
Great. What's your name and number? Perfect. Let's do it.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Huh?
No,
Sorry?
that's a good idea. I think I need to be more direct. I had this fear of like mixing the two, but it doesn't hurt just to even broach the subject, right? Like just okay, this goes also for Corey as well too, right? Like when you're talking to your past clients, I wouldn't go around and say like, hey, you're available for coffee? Like for what? You know what I mean? Like I'm a busy guy, man. Tell me what's up. What do you want? Right? Like it obviously depends on the personality profiles. Like chances are if they're a business owner, then they're a high D. If you know the DISC personality profiles, I'm sure you guys have learned that in the classes. Yes, no? Right. Yep.
Yeah. So if it's a high D personality, don't waste their time. Don't be like, hey, let's go for coffee. For what? What do you want the coffee for? Come on, tell me. Right? Be like, hey, listen, man, I've been willing. Look, I'm just starting my new career here, and I would love to be open to the opportunity to bring you some deals. You want to go for a coffee next week? Right?
You're saying to them you're willing to bring them some deals.
I'm saying that was for Devin's case, where he's bringing them the developer opportunities. But if you're talking about somebody just to buy and sell, and be like, hey, you want to go for coffee? Like, no, I don't want to go for coffee. I'd be like, listen, man, I just got into real estate, and to be honest, I'm looking for business. And if you're looking to transact in real estate, I'd love to interview for the job. Why don't you sit down for coffee next week? Right?
Definitely.
And
Yeah,
they're
that's
like, no,
definitely-
I'm not. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say that's definitely been my Achilles heel so far, is that I haven't been direct enough, I think, and haven't been asking for that business. It's, hey, I'm getting into real estate. Here's my business card. Hit me up if you're thinking about buying or selling, or you have anyone else interested.
Ooh, that's
I
a
know, and I need to be
newbie
more.
mistake. Newbie mistake. Take your business cards. Do me a
Yeah.
favor. Put them in your safe. Lock them away. Leave them in your car. Hide them. Hide them. Put them away. Just like get rid. Don't even have them. You only use them for showing. Right. That's all you have business.
All that money down the drain, though.
Leave them in your car. That's what I'm saying. Honestly, it's
Yeah.
like, oh crap, I don't have any business cards on me. Shoot. You know what? Like, yeah, give me your phone number. Give me your email address. I'll call you. I'll shoot you my info. Get their info. Don't give them a business card. What do you do? What do you do with business cards? What do you guys do with business cards as soon as you get them?
I toss them. Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, amazing, cool, awesome. You're a director of sales, great, that's awesome, cool. Right? Like, just say, shoot, I just ran out of business cards. I just gave them away. But hey, listen, just shoot me your number and I'll give you a text back and I'll send you that information that you were asking about. I'll send you that info sheet on that investment property. I'll send you the numbers for that deal that we were talking about. I think it's a really good opportunity. You're going to make a lot of money on it. Hook them with something, you know?
Cool. Awesome. I will definitely try that. Yeah, that strategy in the future. Thanks.
Nice. Anyway, if you guys are just starting out the business, good luck. It's a wonderful business, lots of opportunity. Best thing I find with it is that you can invest in your own properties too. You're like the first, you should be your number one client, in other words. So go make more money so you have more money saved. Follow the principles that we talked about in the beginning of this course about how to save for that. So put a third away for taxes, a third for running your business, and a third into running your own personal budget. And a portion of that personal budget should be towards savings for buying your properties. And if you see an opportunity, don't sell it to another client and take your 2.5% commission on it. Buy it yourself so that you get the upside. In a market like at least in Toronto anyway, it's going up like crazy. It's going up like nuts. I think anywhere in Canada is going up like nuts. So I would say save enough money so you can buy something yourself and then serve other clients so you get a commission check so that you can continue to do more and you'll do really well over the decades, over the next few years. All right. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us if you want to. Yeah. Any other questions? Final questions?
Do you mind sharing a little? Oh, sorry. It's just Amanda wondering about how you got started.
Well, I started part-time, first of all. I've been in the business for 16 years. First 5 years, I was doing part-time. I was in software consulting, IT support, then software consulting and development, whatever. And I just hated sitting behind a desk at the end of the day. I just hated it because I know that I was sitting in a cubicle, these 3 walls surrounding me, and people were going out for lunch, having, like, you know, because I knew a lot of rich people as well too. They'd go for lunch, shake hands over a meal, and make $1 million. Like, what the hell? Why am I stuck behind this jail cell? I just felt like it was jail. So I had a plan to get out of there. And eventually I was making more in my real estate sales than I did in my day job. And I had to make a decision. So, you know, for a while, for the first 5 years, I was double dipping and making good income both sides. And I was like, yeah, this is going to be scary. But I just realized, I did my math. And I'm like, all I have to do is 1 deal a month, which is 12 deals a year, which is not very easy. But I was at this point, I was 5 years into it. And I said, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go for it. I didn't have much expenses. I didn't have kids at the time. I didn't have, you know, really much expenses. So I just did it. I went full force, quit my day job, walked to my boss's office, and he was like, congratulations. You're very lucky, because a lot of people don't get this opportunity to just walk away from that rat race. So I went all in. Then 2 years after that, it was struggle city. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, you know, when you're working for a company, you have IT support, you have, even as an IT support, you had IT support, you know, you'd have accounting, you'd have HR, you'd have all this stuff. But when you're working for yourself, it's all on you. Right? Like you saw all the technical problems I had right now, which we're a very technically savvy company. Like, I don't understand why this happens to us. We have a media company, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? Like, why the hell did that happen? So that's all on you. That's one big shift. So after that, obviously, when I got the hang of it, so year 7 now, doing deals, consistently doing deals, always just focused on real estate. And I think my biggest problem that I think Gary Carroll talked about this, but like really I was just cheating from my personal life. So, you know, we all have 24 hours in a day, and the same thing that you budget for your expenses, the same thing you should budget for your time as well too. A third of it goes to sleep, a third goes to personal, a third goes to work. I took from that work and I made it like, I took from the personal in others and sleep really to make it. And there's commute times in there too, right? So I took from that, and I think I just grinded and grinded and grinded, and here I am now. So that's how I started.
Awesome. Thank you.
No worries. Hopefully you guys are in the same boat, and I'm not saying grind through it to make it work. I'm just saying learn the mistakes from people that have done it before you. Internalize the scripts. Go to these training classes that you're doing right now, which is amazing that you guys are doing that. And learn as much as you can. Just be a sponge.
Can you talk a little bit more about investing, like say to buy
All yours.
a house and flip it and sell it? Or would you
sure.
keep it?
Well, my question to you is, why would you flip it? So the process, a lot of people think investing means buying and flipping, right? But then you have land transfer taxes, you have commissions selling out. Even if it's not yours, you're still paying half for the co-op commission, right? You still have to discharge your mortgage. You have legal fees. You have closing adjustments, all those things that the transaction is basically, it's really costly. And everybody wants your hands in that pocket, in that transaction, including real estate agents, so that it makes it really difficult for you to do that transaction. So why do that? Why flip it? That's certainly one way to do it. If you find a really off-market deal and you know you can prove it for less than what you can sell it for, great. But my type of investing is they call it the BRRRR strategy, right? Buy, refinance, renovate. Sorry, buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat. Right. So basically, it's the same kind of thing as flipping, except instead of selling it, instead of flipping at the very end, you're just refinancing it at the new appraised value to take a portion of your money out, like 80% of whatever loan to value you can get, and reinvesting it again. That's a repeat part. So that's one strategy. Another way, how I got started in real estate. So let me back this up. Real estate is great as a career for me, but what's done multiples of what my real estate income has created is through investing. Right. And it's all paper money right now. I don't actually see it in my hands. Some of it, I took some profits out through refinancing. But for the most part, my wealth is coming from investing into real estate. So I would say there's many strategies for investing in real estate. Pick up the blue book, which is pretty good, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor. And you basically, the way that I got invested into real estate is that I bought 2 properties. I bought pre-construction, and then I had my own place, and then I bought another place pre-construction, and then I moved out of my current place and moved to the new one when it was built, and I turned my existing one into a rental, and I still have it to this day. So that's also a form of investing.
So pre-construction, you mean you bought it before it was built, right?
Yeah. So that's a condo in Toronto. But that's not the only way to invest. I mean, that's certainly the easy way to invest. If you bought a resale, it's the same thing that could happen. Or if you have a house, if you're in a neighborhood that doesn't have a lot of high rises, then consider renting out the basement, right? Like you live in upstairs, or even you live downstairs and rent out the upstairs, right? Call that house hacking or whatever. So you basically have your house, you rent out a portion of it, and then when you feel secure, you have enough equity in it, refinance it, keep the property, rent out the basement part or the portion that you were living in. So now you have 2 units, you have a duplex all of a sudden, and then go buy yourself a third property or second property. Does the BRRRR method work in Toronto considering price is so high to begin with? Yeah, it can. It really depends. It depends how you, depends on the situation. It really depends.
I find even like a rundown shack here in Oshawa is selling for just as much as a brand new renovated shack.
Well, yeah. I mean, in a hot market like today, where everyone is not in the office and they're at home instead of being at the office, then of course demand is shifted towards the house as opposed to office space, right? So it's going to be like that for a long time. But then what happens if you bought a flip or did the BRRRR method or whatever, and the market went down? you'd be caught with your pants down there, right? So it can really go both ways. There's so many different ways of investing into real estate. It just, honestly, read the blue book and it shift your mind a little bit. But the first thing you have to do is you have to have the income in order to have the ability to invest. So work on getting more leads, getting more business, work on saving that money, not blowing it away on stupid things, and make sure that a little bit you sock away at a time. And before you know it, like Scotiabank says, you're richer than you think. Which is so true. Before you know it, it just happens. Like, I didn't realize I was wealthy until I had, the third condo. And then like, I looked at the prices of what it's worth. I'm like, oh my goodness, crap. That's awesome. So I just built from there. Right. And all of a sudden one year I went out and bought 4 condos. So
Like if you own your own home, is that like you would take the equity out of your home to invest in new properties?
yeah, absolutely. If you're comfortable doing that, and if the income to support the other mortgage, for sure, and the higher mortgage that you have from the equity that you took out, for sure.
Can I ask?
Yep.
The R's in that equation. So reno, refinance, rent.
Sorry, buy.
Yeah, so buy, reno, refinance, rent, and repeat.
Yep.
Is there a particular order with the
That exact order. That exact order.
refinance,
You
and
have to buy it
rent?
first. Okay, you have to buy it first.
Yeah,
You have to renovate it to make it more suitable for tenants.
yeah. And
Whether
to
it's having
increase the value.
triplex, duplex, increasing the value, making nicer materials, adding a washer and dryer, whatever it is, right?
Mhm.
Just making nicer so you can get higher rents. So then you rent it out.
Yeah,
Then with the rental income, you can refinance it. And it's just a portion, it's just a percentage of the GDS, TDS ratios. If you're looking at a small multifamily, if you're looking at a larger one, then it's basically the debt coverage ratio, what they call it. It gets a little advanced, but basically it's a percentage of the income, like a small percentage of the income. It's like generally 4% or like 20 times the rental income, 20 to 25 times the rental income is what you get approved on. And then you refinance that, a portion of it based on the loan to value that you're going to get. Take that money out and you repeat, do it again.
there's also refurnishing.
Sure, which is part of the
Like depending on how hands-on you want to be, you can get more if you furnish it.
refurnish is good. That's the same as the step that I would say for repairing or rehabbing or renovating. It's the same refurnishing, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Right? It just basically you buy it, you improve it, rent it out, get it reappraised and refinanced, take your money back out and do it again. That's basically the steps of it.
Thank you.
And it sounds very simple until you actually go through it and realize like, crap, this is actually pretty complicated because there's a lot of nuances, right? And it's funny how investments really works on the appraised value, right? It's based on the opinion of what one person says, an appraiser, really. So that's how you get your value out of it. Because I mean, if you think about it, you're not really selling the property. How would you really know what it sells for until you actually sell it? All right. So you're based on an opinion of, if you guys remember from your real estate school, there's 3 ways to assess the property, right? 3 ways. What are the 3 ways? Shout it out quick.
Based on sales, comparable sales.
Comparables. Oh, you're good
Based
stuff.
on like listed price of comparables, which is not sales.
That's comparables. Yeah. So direct comparable, indirect comparable, and rebuild. So direct comparable is something that's already existing that you can compare apples to apples. Indirect is something like maybe a different area or different type, different housing type, different layout for if you're in a condo, whatever it is. Not really direct, but kind of, price per square foot or whatever it might be. And then the rebuild cost. How much would it cost if you bought that land and you spent the money to rebuild the house? And how much would the value be? Matt McKeever is a great investor, is an investor in London. He gets in depth in the Burr method in his videos. Yeah, it all comes from bigger pockets at the end of the day. Brandon Turner is the one who coined it. And I hate when people don't give credit to that. Bigger Pockets is a company out in the States. He coined the term and he has a huge following right now. Go check it out. It's very American friendly. So a lot of the stuff doesn't really apply here. And it sounds kind of weird when they say it, like 1031 exchanges and stuff. It's kind of gets really technical. So Matt McKeever's changed that. He's adapted those terms and he made a whole following, which is pretty cool. Smokes a lot of weed though, but anyway. All right.
And my husband and I are in the same situation. We've literally been looking for an investment property for probably 6 months now, and we just can't seem to agree on what's the right one. And now with the market just booming, I'm in Hamilton, so really struggling. We're looking for kind of a 2-unit place, any recommendations? Like, is all your investment property focused in Toronto? Have you diversified at all?
I'm all in Barrie. That's it. But for the most part, yeah, it's mostly on Toronto. I have anywhere from condos to multiplexes. So 19
Yeah, I
unit
struggle
multiplex.
looking out of the city because we know the city so well. So when I'm looking at other cities, I don't know the areas.
Well, you know that blue book, the Millionaire Real Estate Investor, they talk about invest where you know.
Yeah.
Invest in the area you know. I only know Toronto because that's all I know, really. I don't know Hamilton. I'm going to overpay if I go there. I'm going to go overpay if I go to London. I don't know that area. Like, I invested in Barrie just because my friend said so. I'm like, okay, sure. But like, ultimately, yeah, if you know that market, then do it. You know all the nuances. You know what a good deal is. Go for it.
Thanks.
But the thing is, you got to tell your husband just to do it. And as a realtor, this is what you should be doing to your clients as well too. Show them past sales. Show them what's sold. Show them like, oh, you missed out on that one. That was a good deal. Look what happened. We should have bought this 2 years ago. Things like that, right? Create that, treat your husband like the
He's not a quick decision maker. That's the problem. He can't.
Well,
and in this market, you have to be, right? So that's part of the struggle.
Look, slow decision makers own homes too. So you have to speak their language. If he's a slow decision maker, that means he's probably a high C personality, which means he wants the details. He wants the answers before he goes, right? So
Yeah.
You got to speak that language and give him the facts that he needs to make that decision. And it may not happen that first one you present him. It may not happen the 10th one. It may happen the 100th one, right? But keep pushing him.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. The high C thing really is all him, all about the details. So
The faster you learn that, the faster it is for sales, the better you are in sales.
Yeah.
Sales
you.
is communication. Sales is speaking their language. Sales is getting them to do what they already want to do in the first place. All right. Best time to buy was 5 years ago, of course. When's the best time to buy? When's the best time to plant a tree? All right. If there's nothing else, I'm gonna hop off. I gotta go to the bathroom really quick. Yeah. All good? All right, guys,
Thanks,
reach out to us if you want to find out more about us, broadviewavenue.ca. Go to my YouTube and Instagram if you want, and we'll go from there.
Thanks a lot, Ken.
Bye.
See ya.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.